Let's talk about some root cause foundational mood stuff first. We kind of have the nuanced nitty gritty stuff, and then we have the foundational stuff. So the first thing is just your diet, right? We need a nutrient dense, anti-inflammatory, low toxin dietary template. And I like to talk about diets from a template perspective. It provides a lot more flexibility. And then we have a framework premise and why we recommend the things that we recommend. Part of it is foods that are evolutionarily appropriate, foods that we've had enough time to adapt to and eat, foods that are going to be low in toxins, whether it's anti-nutrients or oxalates or phytates or natural plant toxins. Remember, plants don't have claws and feet to run and fight. So they have various toxins, right? So we want to make sure we're using cooking methods and avoiding toxic plants, especially the more gut issues we have. And then anti-inflammatory, right? We know foods have the ability to move us to an anti-inflammatory environment, good, healthy omega-3 fatty acids, kind of more neutral, good, healthy saturated fats, less of the more processed, refined omega-6 that are more fragile, and they can move us more in that pro-inflammatory state. And then, of course, the nutrient density, foods that are going to be super nutrient dense, B vitamins, minerals. Obviously, the food quality is now a big deal because you can have the same kind of meat on your plate that looks totally different under a microscope because of the hormones, because of the feeding practices, because of the medications and the drugs given to the animal while they were having their life and growing, so to speak. So we have to look at nutrient density, anti-inflammatory status, and hormones and toxins. Those are the big things off the bat.
I'm glad you mentioned the omegas. We've talked about this before, but we could just bring it up briefly, which is that there's been studies done on prisoners, and when they were given omega-3 supplements, basically fish oil supplements, they had less violence and less just crazy behavior overall. And there's been some like psychiatry studies looking at just overall like homicidal rage and suicidal thoughts and those things, and they're directly correlated with a deficiency of omega-3 fatty acids.
Yeah, omega-3 is really important. Also, blood sugar stability. There's also data on the fact that inflammation, or I should say, are you able to see me here on the screen?
Yeah, I see you perfectly.
Okay, good. Excellent. All right. So there's information showing that mood issues, anxiety, and depression is a result of inflammation in the brain. And we also know that anytime low blood sugar environments can happen, right? Refined carbohydrates, blood sugar spike followed by a drop. That's called reactive hypoglycemia. Those kind of situations are going to create mood issues. And there's data on the fact that a lot of violent crimes are committed in a hypoglycemic environment. And some of the data on that is because of the fact that low blood sugar environment can shut down activation of the frontal cortex. And the frontal cortex is the part of the brain that's going to predict outcome of an action. So it can say, hey, that person that just pissed you off, I want to go hit him or go call him out. And then that frontal cortex has that like 20 milliseconds of, hey, if you do that, you may get arrested. And it can dampen the impulse, so to speak. So the more you have good activation of that frontal cortex through reducing inflammation and then also maintaining good blood sugar. And part of that is we become more fat burners. And that fat burning environment puts logs on our metabolic fire, which keeps our blood sugar from going up and down, and then avoiding a lot of the refined carbohydrate, which tends to make our blood sugar go up and down as well.